I got burnt in the head with my curling iron on the day of the wedding. So my friend and he was sitting there, we were talking, we're getting music playing. And I'm like, oh my God, you just burnt me.
So tell me all about the day. I mean, what was it like seeing Brett for the first time on your wedding day? Kind of walk me through it.
Well, honestly, the weather did not turn out in my favor during the rehearsal and a few times during the weekend. But obviously, when you're in a tropical place, you're bound to get some rain. So had to end up going with plan B, but my wedding planner just turned it around. And honestly, I feel like it was a better decision. The rain plan looked just incredible. So I was not even upset about it. I enjoyed my time. It actually cooled the day off, so it wasn't super hot. But yeah, it was, seeing Brett for the first time was incredible because we didn't do a first look. And I know that every photographer would probably, kill me for saying this, but I just wanted that initial, us locking eyes to be from me walking down the aisle versus, me tapping him on the shoulder. So I don't regret that at all. It was pretty emotional, but totally worth it.
Totally worth it. And tell me about your dress. It was absolutely stunning.
Thank you. So yeah, with the dress, I think that it was a little different than what people probably thought that I would go with. But I normally am more on the structured side. So I do like stuff that is very simple, not a lot of detailed. And with that, I just felt getting married on the beach, I needed to do something that was a little more free and flowy and just, but still with some Madison detail to it. So, I loved it so much, I just replicated it and made a bathing suit for everybody else who loved it. So that's coming very soon, and I'll launch that during the honeymoon.
Oh, that's awesome. So you were inspired by the dress to kind of create a whole new swimsuit?
Yeah. So I pretty much just took my wedding dress and I was like, let's make a swimsuit out of this. And so we did. We had the cap sleeves. I got a little skirt for it. So I think a lot of people are going to be able to get that flare as well. So
I love that. And you also changed into another dress during for the reception, right?
Yes, it was like a little Zimmerman tuxedo type. I like a good neckline like that because I knew that I was going to change my hair to an updo. And obviously the first thing I do when I see an outfit is I'm like, what's the hairstyle? So I immediately went that route. And considering that my hair is naturally curly with this texture, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to fight this humidity and the weather with a little bit of rain. So we went with that and went more like my effortless, I did my own makeup. So it was me. And I think that Brett really appreciated that as well.
I love that. I love that you did your own makeup for your wedding day too. That's so great.
Yeah. Well, why not? I'm best at it. So
yes, that's true. your face the best. What was your favorite part about the wedding?
Oh, I got this question throughout the night, and I even had an after party, which is where we dug out sand and everybody, it was a bonfire with s'mores and people were, passing around pizzas and everything was just better than the next, obviously the ceremony and seeing Brett and Hudson standing there. I will never not vision that when I think of my wedding, but Brett one day when we were planning said it would be really cool, if we had fireworks. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. So of course, I talked to my planner. I was like, what are the chances I can get fireworks? And this guy is he loves Disney World. So I was like, I want the biggest fireworks show you could possibly give me. And so he had no idea. And with the rain, I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. So when I walked him out there to go to the last party of the weekend, the after party, he was just I never heard him scream before, but he was like, whoa! So I was like, okay, I did it. He's happy. So,
I love that. I love that so much. I know that your son was so involved in the engagement process and things like that. So how involved was he in the wedding as well?
So he stood right there behind me and kept my veil from flying off in the wind. I looked back at him and you can see his little face. He's he's so nervous because he had both of our rings on his thumbs. So he he's like, I was so nervous because I had this veil and then I had both of the rings. And I was like, that was probably a bad idea for us to do that because with all this sand. But he did wonderful. You know, he just the cutest thing. I mean, and my dad as well. I'm like, my dad, I just can't. I can squeeze him. So to have, you know, the three most important men in my life there was just wonderful.
I love that. Did you guys say your own vows or was it more traditional?
No, we didn't. It was more traditional, and Brett's brother was the officiant. So that was actually really nice to be able to have him in those, you know, photos that we're going to have for the rest of our lives. And, you know, he had some stories and little jokes in there, which, you know, lightened it up so it wasn't so, you know, stressful as being like, am I saying the right thing? Or, you know, so he was perfect for that.
Yeah. I love that this was a very small, intimate wedding as well. Why was that so important to you? And why did you not want to do, you know, like the you know, hundreds and hundreds of people? Why did you want to keep this a small, intimate wedding?
Well, I mean, you know, I honestly wanted to be able to spend time with those people that, you know, we know as a couple. And that was kind of the whole point. If they didn't know Brett and I and our relationship that well, then, you know, they just weren't coming to the wedding. I mean, you know, once you start inviting all those people, it just like is a snowball effect. Mm-hmm. I will say that with having 42 people at the wedding, it was still a good amount. Kudos to you brides out there that have 200 to 100 people. I don't know how you guys do it. Like, that's some superwoman stuff, like insane.
I love it. Besides the weather, did anything else go wrong that like maybe other guests didn't know about and only you knew about?
Oh yeah. I got burnt in the head with my curling iron on the day of the wedding. So my friend and I he was sitting there, we were talking, you know, we're getting music playing. And I'm like, oh my God, you just burnt me. And we laughed to the point, but I thought I would probably freak out and I didn't. I said, oh, it's okay. It's not going to turn into like a blister until, you know, tomorrow. So sure enough, you know, I'm here right now. We're healing, but that was probably the only, I mean, I'll take that all day over, you know, anything else happening. So
for more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.